Okay, let's get it going here. Kicking off a Thursday with Longshore McKnight. So glad you're a part of what we're doing here today. A lot going on, a lot of guests, a lot of topics. And as you can see, it must be the NFL schedule reveal tonight. I've never seen so much Jags gear on in one place. Man.
Yep. This is basically about 2/3 of all of my Jags gear. I got another hat and I got a sweater and this is it. I am he's John Longshore, of course. Everybody knows that. I'm Barry McKnight. I am in a hotel room in West Monroe, Louisiana right now. And been on the road a ton, really, since the fall. And this is the last road trip of the year, unless the Trojans make the NCAA tournament in baseball. And then we're going somewhere. So, game tonight against Louisiana Monroe, or as John has immortally dubbed them, La Mo. First of three, 6 tonight, 6 tomorrow, and 1 on Saturday. And John is right. It's the NFL schedule release tonight, although they did release the international games yesterday. It is a record 9 international games, 9 times.
Where's this league going?
Yeah, well, it's going to Rio de Janeiro and it's going to Munich, Germany, in places that I don't know. Maybe they'll draw a big crowd at those places, but are they ever going to be NFL hotbeds? Do you want to grow that? I mean, when John talks about, you need to get out and expose your program more. You need to get out and go to different places. Evidently, John believes in that point, but he doesn't believe in exposing your program, for instance, in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
No. There's no exposure there. No,
it's like the NFL is going to Rio de Janeiro. Why? Why Rio? They're never gonna beat soccer in Rio de Janeiro, and it's really not worth their time. A lot like when Alabama football canceled, and believe me, it wasn't Oklahoma State when Alabama football canceled that home and home against Oklahoma State. John's initial thought was, good. That should have never been scheduled anyway.
Yeah, really. We'll take the credit.
Same thing with the NFL and the international games.
Well, I'm going to look at it this way. I think it's kind of a double-edged sword, if you will. I was just thinking about, I have never made a plan to wake up early and watch an NFL game at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. I might see it on as I'm channel surfing. But I don't go, wow, man, set the alarm. We got to watch the NFL early on Sunday. So I don't do that. And probably the NFL in general, unless it's something I really want to watch, which normally is involving the Saints or somebody that's really good. I will casually watch NFL throughout the season on Sundays and Sunday night and Monday. I'm not, oh man, I got to make a plan to do it. And unless it's a few select teams and games. Cowboys. But I think that with this international deal, obviously they're not real worried about the television rating part of it because, if I'm watching it at 8 o'clock here at 6 a.m. on the West Coast, which is a large TV market as well, I think it's just all about exposure. I mentioned, Mexico City is a huge Raiders town. I don't know how much they know about Raider football, but they like the logos and they like the color combinations. And I think that's one of the steps they're taking. Just expose it to different parts of the world, sell some jerseys, some hats, see what happens, and get the buzz going about American football overseas. I don't see a team ever being
stationed over there.
In internationally, I just think the travel constraints would be incredible. But just the exposure part of it. Hey, look at this. The Raiders are in town. That's the only thing I can come up with.
There was a couple of things. There was a movie that came out when I was a kid. It was called Rollerball.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And it starred James Caan. He had a cool, I can't remember the name of his character. It just comes to mind. But it was James Caan, and they were playing rollerball, where it was basically like a combination between football, hockey, and roller derby.
Yeah, which I loved
People
roller
would
derby back in the day.
people would die out there in that movie. It was a futuristic movie set, like 200 years in the future, and he was the best player in that sport in the world. And it was like Tokyo versus Los Angeles and Madrid versus Miami and stuff like that. And I thought, man, this is really cool. The world has shrunk, and they'd fly out there, wouldn't take but a couple of hours on the Concorde or whatever to get there. And so maybe somebody in the NFL may have seen that and said, we ought to do that. Why not? Why not New Orleans versus Munich? A home and away once every
And I guess,
couple
if
of
they
years.
could space the season out, which I'm sure they wouldn't have any problem doing that, because I think travel would be an issue if you were traveling from Hong Kong to Rio or Sydney to London. Those are some long trips. So a week might not be enough. And I would think that would be one of the hurdles they'd have to deal with. But,
Well,
I would think that there again, home fans, you're losing the game. There are 8 regular season games, home games in the NFL for every team normally, but you play internationally. That's not going to happen. If you're building a new stadium, as the Jags are doing, and also playing internationally, it hurts your home game numbers. I wonder if it affects ticket sales. Do people, or do they have to decrease? I mean, if I'm a Jags fan, am I paying the same amount of money for season tickets as a Cowboy fan?
when the Cowboys know they're getting 8 games come Hades or high water, and the Jags know they're playing 2 games in London every year. I wonder about that. I do. The owner, Shad Khan, he's got billions of dollars, so it doesn't bother him. 2 things as well. I'm with John. I mean, as a Jaguars fan, I have gotten up early before church. Normally, I got to admit, I wait until the very last minute to wake up, and then I'm rushing through to make, church on time. But I will get up early if the Jags are playing. I ain't watching the whole thing because I'm not going to be able to watch the end of it because I get to go to church. But I will get up early to watch the Jags. I did it once this past year, and I didn't get the vibe. They're in Wembley and all that. It just didn't feel like an NFL game. And number 2, I packed this to bring in. I thought it'd be fun. I'm always looking for something. What am I going to wear on the show and all this? So Chris the Bammer, that's another thing. John is not a believer in grown men wearing jerseys of any kind or something like that. He's not looking down his nose at them or anything, but if he sees a grown man wearing a Cam jersey, he's like, really? But he ain't doing it. I mean, if you do it, it's all right. But John ain't going to do that.
Yeah, I don't have a jersey. The last jersey I wore had a number 8 on it, and it was dark green and gold with white highlights. I believe that's the last football jersey I ever put on. But I have some hats and things of that nature. But one thing, jerseys cost too much. I mean, it's amazing what an NFL football jersey cost.
Well, got to admit, got this jersey as a gift. My Mark Brunell number 8 jersey.
That's
and the hat, school. Thrift store. Thrift store hat. Found it.
That's kind of like Braves cable TV subscriptions. They get that at the thrift store too, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I'll wear it and I'll watch it, but I hate paying full price for it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that I got that. I was in Vegas years ago. It was on a Sunday. I'm in the sports book, and I'm just looking around going, man, look at all these guys with jerseys on. Really? Wow. I mean, it was a ton of folks. I said, you really love your team that much? But, different strokes for different folks. It's whatever. It makes what makes the world go round.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
All right, so we're rocking the schedule reveal. We know the international games, but you know me, I like to dive deeper. I like to know who's playing on Monday nights, Thursday nights. Am I on Prime? Am I on Amazon? I got to make a plan. Like to make some notes. Like to go ahead and plan ahead. Sunday afternoon games, I'm more partial to those than I am the 12 o'clock kick. So I will, I'll take a look. I'm not going to sit there and watch the whole thing tonight, but I'll bring the highlights or my highlights to the show tomorrow, and we can discuss that in a little bit more detail. I know Detroit and Dallas are playing on Thanksgiving. I want to know who they're playing. Who are they playing? Is it going to be a good matchup?
I do know that that Detroit will host the Bears on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving?
It'll be Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
That's according to NFL.com. It'll be in Detroit at noon, and the Lions. That Thanksgiving week is a 5-game Thanksgiving week slate that'll actually begin on Wednesday, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, with the Packers and the Rams. And again, the Bears and Detroit. Dallas is playing. I don't know who they're playing, though, so we'll see.
Yeah, I like to see that. So, Barry, that's the time of year where we have a game, some type of football game is on every night. What a great time of year.
Yeah, there is. What happened last year? I think it was 53 straight days with either a college game or an NFL game. And by a game, it usually means, at least 5, 6,
a little Phantom's
7,
Daily Dog with the Maction on a Tuesday night. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So there is, yeah. John ain't watching it.
No,
but he might be. He might be.
You're right. It's kind of like the Daily Dog from yesterday, which we'll get to in about an hour. Do you think I watched an inning of that game? No.
He woke up this morning, got in front of the camera, make sure everything's set up, and then he said, "All right, let me see what it." Oh, okay.
Well, I will admit,
that's the extent of it.
I came in last night. Number 4 and 5 are about to graduate from high school, believe it or not. A week from today. It's a week from tonight, as a matter of fact. But this last 10 days or so, I mean, they're going through the motions. They ain't got much going on, and they're just kind of, living the life. And so there are a lot of, parent activities as well, like some dinners.
If anybody understands that, cruising over the last couple of, this was John high school senior year, but this was also John high school junior year, John high school sophomore year, John high school freshman year.
I will
last 2 weeks of high school every year,
man,
cruise control.
I still remember it 40 plus years after the fact.
Slow.
From the end of spring break till the end of school was probably the greatest time in my high school life. It was great. The weather was great. The time had changed. I mean, school was an afterthought. I mean, we'd show up, but
he'd get up on Monday mornings and in January, and it'd be freezing out there and rainy, and he'd think, "Golly, I cannot wait."
Yeah, we were out every night.
That's what you're living
going on. It was just the best. But anyway, so I came in from a little activity, and I went, let me see what this Daily Dog's up to. And so I did check a score. I think it was at the bottom of the 8th. I went, okay, looking pretty good. We'll wake up tomorrow and see how it played out. But we'll get into that in a little over an hour. I have another dog for you today as well. A lot of guests coming up today, Barry. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover in about 15 minutes. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market with fresh crawfish. We're going to tell you all about that. Spicy boiled and the fresh crawfish there at Destin Connection. Will Fisher from Capitol Hill on the RTJ Trail, Barry. The PGA Championship is underway. Thankfully, because I've had enough of Brandel Chambly all week. Lead me up to it. I like Brandel, but man, enough's enough. Let's tee it up. Let's play.
Yeah, give me a little Will Fisher instead.
Yeah, I mean, we got like 8 players tied for the lead right now. It's early. Don't get me wrong. We got about 7 or 8 at 1 under par. Cameron Smith, one of those. That's 1 under. Lucas Glover, Alex Fitzpatrick. Not a lot of overly well-known players, but it is extremely early there in Philadelphia. And boy, man, they are. Well, it's 8:15 there, I guess, but. Yeah. This group that like Alex Fitzpatrick, who is through 6 holes, it's 8:15 in Philadelphia. So to be through 6 holes in an hour and 15 minutes, this guy probably teed off at 7 o'clock Eastern today.
What's your hurry?
That's when I pull a WD. I'm thinking,
yeah,
7
this ain't worth it.
You got to be kidding me. Dew sweeping, your eyes are still kind of swollen up a little bit. I mean, that means you got to hit the practice tee. Well. Most people, an hour and a half before me, it's usually 10 minutes. But, to me, there's nothing worse than teeing off early. And I know a lot of people like it. Get it out of the way, got the rest of the day to do what I want. What do you mean? I want my day to be about golf, not something else.
I don't want to move on after the round. After the round, I want to move to the 19th hole.
Exactly.
And go home, see what's on TV and hit the sack, man. I've got a whole. You play 18 holes, and you got a whole day still ahead of you. No.
I've never understood that. I want to ease into the day.
Couple of things on our River Region Strong Chat line. John from Wetumpka says, as a teacher, and he's been at it for a long time. He says, as a teacher, our rule of thumb is if you haven't taught it by spring break, you can forget it.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever had a truer statement ever chatted. On
John,
this chat line.
That is similar to golf. I mean, these guys are out there hitting 4 bags of range balls, and then you walk up to the tee. I'm thinking, look, buddy, if you don't know it by now, those 4 bags of range balls aren't going to cure it. I mean, you're going to shoot 88 today. You better go in there and get a couple of lessons after the round because out there hitting range balls ain't going to work.
Plus, and John's rule of thumb is I ain't got but a certain number of good shots.
That's right. Don't want to leave them up here.
The good Lord has given me a certain number of shots that I'm going to strike exactly the way I want to. Why am I going to waste those shots on the practice tee?
That's right.
I want to hit those when they count, when I can get into somebody's pocket. You can't even get into somebody's pocket on the practice tee. Or can you?
Now, on the putting green, you can.
Okay.
I won many a beer on the putting green, just kind of horsing around a little bit. But, that lasts about 10, 15 minutes tops.
Well, we'll get a little something from Jason, a little something from Rodney Orr, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. We'll also talk with Will Fisher from Capitol Hill in Prattville. Is it Scheffler versus McIlroy? Is that what the cameras are going to give us the whole
Well, I'm waiting for Range Pro
here?
and Range Pro told me he's going to submit his picks on the chat line today. Yeah. So I'm waiting to see
what he's
who Range Pro goes with, and then I'm basing my favorites on that.
Well, there we go. So we're underway. It's the Thursday show. John is in his home studio. I'm in West Monroe, Louisiana. Here we go. Range Pro when we come back. Longshore McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Declaration of Deals sales event ends soon at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume dealer. Rams, $17,000 off for 0% for 5 years. And Gladiators, $11,000 off for 0% financing. Only at Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. The Declaration of Deals sales event ends soon at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume dealer. Wranglers, $9,000 off or 0% financing. And Grand Cherokees, $8,000 off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You got a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun.
Hey, I got your Bud Light.
Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light.
What'd I miss?
I have no idea.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Call Dixie and it's done.
Alrighty, back at it. Glad you're with us here about 20 minutes after the hour here on a Thursday. You mentioned it, Range Pro has made his selections for the PGA Championship, the second of the four majors this year.
Yeah.
How about these numbers?
Yeah, someone's going to have to explain them to me. He says PGA, this is Range Pro, PGA good payout plays, McIlroy plus 900, Terry Henley, no, I'm just kidding, not Terry, Russell Henley, I think, plus 89.90, JJ Spawn plus 7,800, Jordan Spieth, is he still on the tour? Jordan Spieth.
And it's hard to believe Barry Spieth is one shy of a career Grand Slam, and it's the PGA.
It's this, yeah. It's been the millstone around his neck ever since, because it's been 10 years. Anyway, Spieth at plus 5,900, Harris English, at plus 12,000. No, that'd be plus 1,200. No, and Young. 12,000. Young plus 1,475. Cameron Young.
If that's the man, I don't know about 12,000.
I don't either. That may be a typo. But he says this: today's plays, McIlroy plus 128 in a 3-ball match versus Rahm and Spieth. Koepka plus 150 versus Andrew Schauffele. McIlroy minus 110 versus Rahm. M minus 115 versus Hojgaard. And Young plus 150 versus Scheffler. I may as well just now have been reading this to you in Sanskrit for what that means to me. But Range Pro, man, I'm sure a lot of people get a lot of value.
Well, it's similar to baseball. Where, for instance, there was a team that was catching plus 122 last night. We'll get into that a little bit later. But so here you're putting up, well, like today, McIlroy at plus 128 in a 3-ball match versus Rahm and Spieth.
That sounds deep in the weeds there.
So you're taking McIlroy against those two players. So you're putting up 100 to win 128 that McIlroy has a better score than those two today. Same thing with Scheffler and McIlroy.
But you're not giving strokes or anything like that.
You're just there again.
He wins.
This is what you could win. And then it could be reversed. If it's minus 115, you're putting up a 115 to win 100. So if you lose bet, you're going to lose $115.
Have you ever... Would you be willing to bet $100 on M or Hojgaard, guys that I know you have never heard of before in your entire life?
I have heard of M. I know, I've heard of Hojgaard. Now, I couldn't point him out in a lineup, but I've heard the name. But, I mean, see, this is where I got to take Range Pro's expertise, because a lot of these guys I'm not real sure about, particularly when you put the numbers with them as well. I mean, obviously, McIlroy is going to be up there because people know him. He's playing well.
Right.
Spieth's not so much. But yeah, I mean, some of these numbers are pretty big. I like that.
All right.
So Harris English, he says, is not a typo.
The Harris English play is not a typo.
Yeah. $100 play is going to win you $12,000. Obviously, Harris has not been playing very well.
I don't know. He says he's playing good and has a dozen top tens. If I can put up 100 to win 12,000, that must mean he's like the longest of longety long. Shots.
You know, it's similar, Barry, to we were talking with Gurn Sr. I might have mentioned to you that years ago he won playing Keno in Vegas, which I don't even think Keno's a game anymore. You would you would play it in the coffee shops around the casino to give you something to do while your food was being prepared. And he put up $10 and played a Keno board. I said, man, you are wasting $10. You might as well just burn it. And lo and behold, he won $1,200 on a $10 bet. And it can
Hasn't played Keno since.
Hadn't played Keno since. Had not played Keno. It's like bingo. But he got it done.
So all right. Yeah, Harris English.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be something that might get a lot of the people out of the weeds. But you will see you're not going to see it today. And I don't even know what the TV coverage is of the PGA Championship. But everybody's looking at Scheffler and everybody's looking at McIlroy. They've won 4 out of the last 5 majors between them. They're the 2 best players in golf right now, but they have never played in the same foursome on a Sunday at a major.
Huh.
You've never seen at a major championship.
Yep.
Coming down the stretch, Scheffler and McIlroy matching shot after shot, and you can bet the TV networks are pleading for them. They have done battle, they say, head-to-head before in the Ryder Cup singles match at Bethpage last year. Scheffler won 1 up. And at the 2025 Upton Golf Channel Games, where Scheffler won by a single inch.
Oh.
In the 17 majors held since the start of 2022, they have both finished in the top 10 in the same tournament just 7 times. Well, this tournament, this site, Aronimink, the site for the championship, supposed to set up well for both players. McIlroy, because they say it's a bomber's paradise, and Scheffler because, he's Scheffler. Every course is playing well for him.
Yeah, and this is you mentioned the TV, ESPN and CBS are going to be carrying this over the weekend.
Yeah. And they're not close today. Scheffler tees off at 7:40 McIlroy tees off at 7:40 this morning. Scheffler goes off at 1:05 this afternoon. So that doesn't help.
And one thing to point out, and we've talked about this when it comes to U.S. Open championships. This is a par 70. So there are 2 fewer par 5s on this course. You see that a lot in the U.S. Open. These players love par 5s because most of them can hit a par 5 in 2.
Yeah.
And it's a great birdie, even an eagle possibility, but certainly a great birdie possibility, which in turn lowers the scores. It's much more difficult playing a longer par 4 that you might have to be, I would say that you'd have to hit a 5-iron into, but these guys aren't hitting many 5-irons into a par 4 either. But probably, maybe having to hit a 7-iron, possibly a 6, depending on how long. And some of these par 4s are extremely long. But as far as these guys can hit it off the tee, they're usually hitting something a little shorter in there. But nevertheless, the par 70 is something you're seeing, particularly in the U.S. Open, and you'll see more of it. And I think in some other majors. Now you can't do it at Augusta because they're par 72. But I thought that was interesting because I don't recall many PGAs being at par 70. And I wonder if Range Pro factors that in. I'm sure some of the handicappers do, that it's a par 70 rather than a par 72.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Let the record show we have gone 29 minutes on our Thursday show without talking about college football.
How about that?
Yes.
Well, if you want to talk college football these days, you got to talk about Lane Kiffin, which I'm really tired of talking about.
Yeah. I know these are just words. I know this is just if Kiffin says something about this in mid-October when LSU is 1-3 or something like that, it'd be a little bit different. But it is talking season, and it is Lane Kiffin. I just wonder if why in the world Ole Miss is all of a sudden becoming the butt of everybody's jokes. Ole Miss hadn't done anything. I mean, they made the college football dang playoff last year and came within a play of.
I mean, it doesn't seem like Kiffin had too hard of a problem getting good players to come to Oxford.
No, but now he says things at LSU are so much better. I don't know. When we come back,
this football playoff, won a game, beat Georgia. Obviously, they're getting some good players to come.
Yes. Well, when we come back, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, starts off our cavalcade of guests on the show today. John is at home. I am in West Monroe, Louisiana. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. If you encounter one wolf, chances are there's a pack nearby. Fortunately, the same applies to beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. To avoid going in circles, make note of recognizable landmarks, like that.
What's wrong with going in circles?
Different circles, Ross.
Okay.
Head for the mountains.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Big news for Central Alabama travelers. Getting to Texas just got easier. You can now fly nonstop from Montgomery to Houston with United Airlines. No long drives, no layovers, just smooth direct travel from your hometown airport. Whether it's business or a weekend getaway, Houston is now just one flight away. Spend more time there and less time getting there. Fly nonstop to Houston. Fly MGM, where travel feels easy. Book your trip today at flymgm.com.
Okay, back at it about 28 minutes to the top of the hour. Our man Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joining us as he does each and every Thursday. Jason, hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm good, guys. How about y'all?
Doing well. Enjoyed reading your story at auburnundercover.com, previewing the matchup in baseball at Plainsman Park starting tonight, top 5 showdown between Auburn and Georgia. And you nuanced it a little bit or a good bit about the different levels that this is going to be such a competitive series. It's more than just – I've seen Georgia play with my own eyes. They can daggum hit.
Yeah.
But it's more than just Auburn's really, really good pitching against Georgia's really, really good hitting, correct?
Yeah. That's kind of that's where you have to start with this one with Auburn. I think, leading the league in ERA, Georgia leading the league in just about everything offensively. I think Georgia Tech is the only team in the country that averages more runs per game than Georgia. Of course, Auburn will have played those teams 5 times this year. So that's kind of the way this thing's going for this Auburn team. I think this is now 4 straight top 10 series and 5 of the last 6 top 10 series that Auburn will have played to finish the season. So it's what you signed up for in this league. And sometimes it works out, sometimes you doesn't. You would have never thought going into this season that missing LSU, Vanderbilt, and South Carolina would have been bad for you. But that's the way it works out. You miss 2 of the 3 in the last 20 years, at least 2 of the 3 best programs in college baseball the last 20 years. And in South Carolina, a team that's won multiple national championships. You miss those 3 teams and you're like, man, who'd we make mad? But that's the way it works sometimes.
Yeah.
What's at stake in terms of regional hosting or anything like that? Are they both going to host?
Yeah, no, I think both are going to host. I think both are top 16 seeds, no matter what. I think now it's Georgia's RPI isn't as high as Auburn's because of its non-conference schedule and because of the fact that they did play those bottom teams in the league this year. I think they played all of those teams. So their RPI is not as high. I still find it hard to believe that a team that wins the league outright in this league isn't a national seed regardless of what the RPI is. And so I think Georgia's probably pretty safe there. For Auburn, you may be safe with the number 2 RPI in the country that's not going down any. I mean, it's not like you're losing anything playing Georgia. It probably feels like one would be wrap up a top 8 national seed at 17 and 13 with the RPI and the strength of schedule that you're going to have. It probably feels like one would pretty much do it. But you never really know because this league is so stacked. The crazy thing is Auburn could win 2 games this weekend and finish 18 and 12 in the Southeastern Conference, have an RPI of 2, you could be a number 3 or 4 national seed and be the 7 seed in the SEC tournament. Like that's how crazy this league is. You can win 18 games in this league and not have a bye, or not have a double bye anyway. So that's just the way it is right now. And it's tough, as Butch Thomas said. Every week's felt like a super regional, and you ramp it back up again this weekend.
You know, as you were talking about earlier, some of the teams you face that you don't face. Somebody brought this up earlier in the week. I mean, look, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't keep up with college baseball as closely as other collegiate sports, and certainly not as close as you two guys do. But I do know who some of the good teams are over the years, and they were making the point that, man, you know, LSU and Vanderbilt aren't any good this year. I mean, their records are terrible. And I kind of went, yeah, you know, I've noticed that. I mean, when I'm talking college baseball in the SEC, those are 2 teams you normally would hear about. And then I think about Georgia, and I'm thinking, but I don't remember hearing much about Georgia being very good. And here they are leading the league. What makes that happen?
Yeah, I think when you think about it, especially for me, for Vanderbilt always had an advantage over everybody because of the endowed scholarship side of things. So that's become an even playing field for them. So their advantage is now gone. And so once that happens, you're like, everybody has the same advantage now to give full scholarships. And so I think that's been one of the things for them. They haven't done the portal as well, in my opinion, as some other teams. That's the thing that's changed for Georgia. They have become a portal-heavy program. They go out and spend pretty much all their money on portal bats. And
when Troy played up there 2 weeks ago, it's the second time we played up there 2 weeks ago, in their starting lineup, they had one guy that they had signed out of high school.
That's it.
Oh, wow.
It's all portal heavy. They go offensive, and then listen, they tweaked their park. It used to be a place that was tough to hit home runs, and they moved the fences in, and now the ball flies out of there. I mean, it is a launching pad. It's the new launching pad in the state of Georgia. But they got the guys that fit their park. And so, but you know, you look at LSU, and they win a national championship last year. All of a sudden you miss a couple of pieces and you don't get the right portal guys, and then you're left with a hole. And so that's the thing, you know, like from Auburn perspective, Butch Thompson has chosen to go, hey, look, we're going to continue to recruit and develop high school guys. You're playing freshmen and sophomores, and then mix in transfers. It feels like your consistency is probably better, but maybe your window to be great, like LSU. I mean, Paul Skeens is a transfer. I mean, like a bunch of these guys were. Maybe it makes it a little tougher because you're playing freshmen and sophomores, and so I think you're going take a shot every year to see if you can get the right guys. If it doesn't work out, man, you may miss the NCAA tournament. But then if it works out, you might win a national championship. And that's what it's felt like that LSU has done recently.
All right, Jason, Auburn plays really technically at Georgia on Monday in the NCAA men's golf regionals out there. Everybody, when they talk about Auburn golf, they're talking about Jackson Coiven. He's the SEC Player of the Year again. He's probably going to be the National Player of the Year. But they come in with a target on the back. They're the number 1 overall seed. Can they pull it off? And it'll have to be more than Jackson Coiven playing well, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing about it. And what I like, what I don't like about golf is that in regional play, there's no match play. So you go SEC tournament, you determine a champion by match play. Regional, I mean, you don't really, there's not really a championship. You just qualify for the NCAA tournament. Then you go to the NCAA tournament and you go back to, we're going to seed teams by how you play stroke play, but then you're going to change it to match play. Because of that, there is a no way to determine, because all it takes is, a day when you play a guy that has 8 birdies, well, he may have 5 triple bogeys and you lose the match.
Yeah.
That's the nature of match play. But you're right. Jake Albert is a really talented freshman. Josiah Gilbert's another one of the veteran guys there. But, Logan Riley's a freshman. They've got some depth on this one. McCaden Pope is another veteran along with Jackson Coyven. The depth of this team is really good. But to survive it, you feel good about getting through stroke play because this team has some guys that can play, and they're pretty consistent. That's really good for stroke play because they don't make a bunch of big numbers. If they advance and you get to match play and you get to the NCAA championships, then it all comes down to, you just hope that you don't have 2 guys that have an off day, because then you're in trouble, because then it puts so much pressure on the other guys. So you got to win 3 out of 5 matches. So, but yeah, you feel good about them in advancing out of a stroke play portion.
Yeah, that match play can get between your ears. I mean, you're playing well, you have one bad hole, or this guy, your opponent, makes a quad, and you're thinking, wow, I'm only 1 up. What's going on here?
Correct.
So, yeah, it's a different mindset from that match play to medal play.
Absolutely. And the women just won their regional, finished yesterday. So they've now advanced and qualified for the NCAA championships out in California. So men are trying to do the double. And at the same time in Athens, Georgia this weekend, women's tennis is trying to win a national championship for the first time. They'll be in the Elite 8 starting tomorrow. So you go potentially Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Athens, Georgia, and then Monday for men's golf. You could have a lot of news coming out of Athens in terms of Auburn perspective this weekend.
Jason, money that we talk a lot about in terms of college athletics, programs doing all they can do to make more money. And of course, the Big Ten, there's been some talk about private equity. There was something earlier this week with Michigan turning an investment into OpenAI into a huge windfall that's going to give them a pretty good advantage in name, image, and likeness. Your thoughts about that? And do you think we're going to see that in the SEC?
I think you're doing everything you can. I talked to somebody probably a year and a half ago, and they said, look, every day feels like a bake sale when you're in college athletics now. Every day feels like a bake sale because you're like, how can we raise more money? And so I think, look, it's just, and fans hate it. I don't like it either, but they hate losing worse. So it's one of those things as an athletic department, as an athletic director, you going like, I'll take the Baylor game, for example. You're going to make money moving that game to Atlanta to then pour back into your athletic programs for an NIL purpose. Does that offset what you make at home? No, it doesn't. But it offsets what you'd make at home from an NIL perspective. It does, and quadruples it. That you're going to continue to see these things until something changes. This is the way athletic departments have to work. You have to go raise all the money you can, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, and you just let. I saw this yesterday. How different this world is. The top 10 players in the state of Texas for this next year's class in football. 7 of them are committed to Texas Tech.
Oh boy!
Wow.
You would
never ever have that even close to happening.
And we know the reason why. I mean, look, yeah, they were good last year, but they were good last year because of that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going out and recruiting anybody they want in the country because of that. And look, you have to have money now to compete. Does it guarantee that you're going to win? Absolutely not. But now that has replaced talent. It used to be if you have the talent, that gives you a chance to win. It wouldn't guarantee it, but you had to have it to win. Now you got to have money to go get those guys.
Do you think it puts more pressure on these coaches and these programs now that so much money's involved? You better start winning and winning early, winning quickly.
Now
it does, but it still doesn't change the fact that you're not the only one spending it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. It's like, well, you're people are like, well, you spent all this money on a roster. Well, yeah, so did everybody else. You're still at the same point.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed. If you were the one spending the money and nobody else was spending and you weren't winning, then absolutely. But like you're spending money just to keep up. That's the difference now. It's like, yeah, you're like people go, oh, you got a $15 million roster in basketball. Yeah. So do 35 other teams. And you go like, that's the world that you have to compete with. Yes, it does put more pressure on it because everybody, they only focus on their program. So all they know is how much money they spent.
Well, two things then. Number one, that Baylor game up in Atlanta, the local merchants are not happy about it, of course, in Auburn. But I mean, it's being sponsored by Aflac now. So I think one of the big reasons why they moved it is not just for the ticket sales and all that. It's because there's NIL opportunities.
That's 100% the reason.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't move that game unless you get that guarantee. And once you get that guarantee, you go like, you still don't want to do it. But it's because, look, you got to go find money and you have to do it in every way possible right now. Because that's how you build rosters in every sport, just about. That's what this thing has become.
Well, also, my number two question, the follow-up, this weekend is Big Cat. Saturday is Big Cat weekend, which has always been an invitation-only thing, and it's always had, the scavenger hunts and the pool parties and all of that. It's kind of a relaxed thing, but you have to be invited. They're going to be having fun and relaxing by the pool and going, eating watermelon and stuff like that. But they're going to be wanting to know about the money. It doesn't seem to be as charming of a thing as it was before, right?
Yeah, and some of it too is most of the guys that'll be on campus have already been here, at least on a couple of visits, probably. So I would think that you've probably had some discussions with a lot of these guys and their agents. And I'm going to use agents like this. So maybe some of that's already taken care of and you can just kind of hang out. But as we know, everything changes depending on what other school you visit and what they tell you, and what their number is. And so, yeah, there's nothing charming about college athletics anymore. You can still find that story, and there's still some out there, but they feel like they're very few and far between right now.
Barry, when you mentioned that about how it's changed and they're talking about money, I just got this visual of, you walk into the car dealership and the sales guy shows you the car and y'all work up the deal and you talk about it. And then he sends you in there to the finance guy and you sit down in an office at his desk and you start talking about all the numbers. And I'm thinking, golly, is that what college athletes are doing? Hey, I love your place and your facilities are great and love the town. Let's go in here and talk some numbers.
Yeah, well, and the bad part is that no, it's not normally those kids. It's normally somebody that represents those kids nowadays, and that's the part that. And then this is a longer story for another day, but that's the part that probably bothers me as much as anything is that those people most of the time don't have the best interest of the kid at heart. Mm-hmm. All they're doing is seeing who can give you the most money because that becomes their cut of whatever they're getting. So long-term investment sometimes is the best way to go. I mean, you see it now. Guys move and they move for reasons, and it works out a lot of times. It doesn't work out a lot of times either. And so when your only goal is to go get more money, that's not look, hey, we all live this too. Sometimes more money doesn't mean better. Sometimes more money is just more money, but it doesn't always make it a better opportunity for you. And I think that happens a lot of times in college athletics now.
That's well put. And that's we can go down on a deep dive with all of that for sure. Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com. It sounds like there's even now in mid-May when the semester is winding down, you guys are being pulled in 100 different directions covering everything. How do people go and make sure they don't miss a bit of it?
Yep, can check us out, AuburnUndercover.com, part of the 24/7 network, and got all the social media platforms, all those things. And yeah, it'll be a busy couple of weeks here as you get to the tournament time in these sports, finishing up the regular season in baseball. Big Cat just kicks off really we haven't talked about it, but it kicks off official visit weekends. It's already started. Official visits used to be January, then they moved up to November and December. Now they've moved up to May and June, and that's when official visits take place. So there'll be 50 some odd official visits before July that happen. That's just part of the world now.
One more thing, and this is a personal thing before we let you go. I had it on my list. This weekend wraps up the regular year for baseball. They're naming the radio booth at Plainsman Park.
Yes. Yeah. After our friends, named it after Rod, and obviously, look, it's the perfect setting, perfect situation and timing to do it. But yeah, no, Butch talked about him yesterday a little bit, and brought up some memories, and it's well deserved. And I think to have his name on that home radio booth forever is the right move for sure.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Good. That's awesome.
Appreciate you very much, Jason. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joining us here today. Always great insight and information. At the top of the next hour, we will check in with Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Will Fisher, Director of Golf at Capitol Hill on the RTJ Trail. Talk a little PGA at the bottom of hour number 2.
Yep.
We might squeeze in the Daily Dog today as well. You never know.
If we have the chance, we might embellish it a little bit.
Yeah.
Might stretch it out a little bit longer rather than quick, this happened, let's move on. We may do that as well. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Conquer the runway at the Montgomery Regional Airport Runway 5K, Saturday, May the 30th from 7:30 until 10 a.m. Proceeds benefiting the River Region United Way. Here's your chance to run on the Montgomery Regional Airport runway. It's a great time for the entire family. For more information, just scan the QR code on the screen or visit iflymgm.com. The Montgomery Regional Airport, getting better the more you use it, with Delta, American, and United Airlines serving MGM with routes to Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, D.C., Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston. The Montgomery Regional Airport 5K runway run, Saturday, May the 30th. Register now for a great day of fun at MGM. Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a 4th location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959, and have the best looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw.
Get below employee pricing and save thousands. Enjoy prices even lower than what we pay with Stivers Ford Employee Pricing Plus. Up to 20 grand off F-150s or 10 grand off Mustangs.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Get below employee pricing and save thousands. Enjoy prices even lower than what we pay with Stivers Ford Employee Pricing Plus. Up to 11 grand off Broncos and Expeditions or 8 grand off Explorers.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Here we are, Longshore and McKnight, with just McKnight right here. Oops. At this very moment. John will be here. Nope, other side. John will be here in just a little bit as we get into our next segment here. We've talked a little bit about golf, the PGA Championship. It is the only major that features no amateurs. There are none, which is probably good because the golf postseason in college golf is being held right now. Baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers, who I root for, the Dodgers have lost 4 out of 5. They're no longer in first place in their division, but the Atlanta Braves just keep cooking along. They beat the Cubs again. 4-1 is the final score. The Dodgers had been on a losing streak, but again, Shohei Ohtani, who's the best player on the planet, once again throws 7 scoreless innings. Did you know Major League Baseball, since Ohtani got traded to the Dodgers, since he signed with the Dodgers, only 2 players in the major leagues have hit more homers in that time than Ohtani has, and that's Aaron Judge and Kyle Schwarber. Did you also know that during that time, since he signed with the Dodgers, that only one pitcher who has thrown more than 500 innings during that Shohei's major league debut has a lower ERA than Ohtani, and that's Jacob deGrom. So he has been the 3rd best home run hitter since he came in. He's also been the 2nd most efficient pitcher since he came in. So what we're seeing is rare stuff from Ohtani, but boy, they needed him yesterday because the Dodgers have been in a tailspin. Meanwhile, the Braves, winners yesterday, they end up beating the Cubs again, 4-1. They are the first team in the major leagues to get to 30 wins.
Oh, 30 wins.
Yeah. So there is that, just, as we cap off our first live hour with the news of the day.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to really get into a lot of Braves baseball at this point. But,
certainly, I agree.
Certainly want to expand on it a little bit later on in the program.
But
yeah, 30 I didn't realize that was a milestone in Major League Baseball. Woo, whippy! First team to get to 30 wins.
It's just interesting.
Do they raise a flag? Do they put up a banner? How does that work?
I'm sure they probably have odds on stuff like that.
Yeah,
since
sure.
John assures me they have odds on everything, like they have on the number of wins projected for particular college football teams.
That's true.
Which John vehemently disagrees with sometimes for certain teams, and absolutely thinks it's a sure thing with other teams. It's just something to, to casually mention.
How pitiful Major League Baseball is. I mean, there are not many teams above 500. I mean,
it's very competitive.
All competitive.
It's
pitiful.
It's parity.
Yeah,
it's parity. That's what you want in the NFL, where everybody's 8-8, and maybe a couple of teams are 9-7, and if you're 10-6, you're in the upper stratosphere. In baseball, John says there's too much losing.
Too much losing. Yeah. Could not. I mean, I would be a basket case if I lost that much.
Can't believe we lost.
Now, I will say the NL Central, Barry, pretty competitive. Everybody in the NL Central is above 500. That's my kind of division.
That's probably the reason why so many people in the National League West are under 500 is because they got to beat somebody.
It's just, the Braves, it's amazing. Can they play in a division that's any good? I mean, I don't know if they ever have, but
no. The definition of any good in a division is this. The Braves win it all the time. It can't be any good. The Braves won 14 straight division crowns under Bobby Cox. It's bound to be a weak division. It's like when the SEC is down. Well, why is the SEC down? Well, Auburn's good this year. Yeah. Well, So
yeah, that's right. Or what do you mean
I've got-
Vanderbilt's good? That shouldn't be happening. Something's
yeah,
wrong here.
must mean everybody else is terrible. But
Yeah.
I got here yesterday, relatively early, 3 o'clock here in West Monroe, Louisiana, where I am right now. Had some had some things to do to get ready for the series. I'm in here working. I'm, getting stuff prepared and everything. And I've got the TV on. I don't normally, I don't watch a lot of TV on the road because I got stuff to do. But the TV was on, and I'm going down this grid, which in a hotel room takes forever. You're like, come on, let's go. Particularly if it's if you're just scrolling around. And it's amazing at this time of the year, all the different stuff you got. You got NBA playoffs, which I watched a little bit of it last night, Cavs and the Pistons.
Yeah, how about that?
I actually watched a little. When I say watched, I'm like John, watched, meaning that it was on in the room while I was doing other things. And I, every once in a while, there'd be a roar of the crowd and I'd go like that. But they had that. They had NHL going on. They had all these, they were all the PGA stuff. This is a pretty doggone good sports week, John.
I'm telling you, a lot going on. I'm telling you, I watched some of that Cavs-Piston game. Cavs winning on the road last night. That was interesting. A lot of people wondering where the daily dog was on that one. But nonetheless, we'll get to that momentarily. But yeah, it is kind of a good thing. It's better than you think. Softball, baseball, even Major League Baseball, if you're into that. NBA playoffs, NHL, and of course, the NFL schedule release tonight. Hey, our friend Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, joins us. And Tider Insider subscribers, no need to drive all the way down to Mobile to pick up your live crawfish. Order yours today at the Destin Connection Seafood Market here in Montgomery. Just give them a call, 288-4272. That's 288-4272, area code 334. And they also have all of the sizes of fresh shrimp to go with that as well, the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Hey, Rodney, good morning. How you doing today?
Doing well, guys. How are the both of you?
We're doing really well. Busy this time of the year. It's high cotton right now in Tuscaloosa. The baseball team is playing well. They got a big series at the end of the year against Ole Miss that starts tonight. Softball, number 1 overall seed. They're playing in the softball regional against 3 schools that John's never heard of before. Pretty good days, pretty good. With basketball doing what it did on the men's side, and with football doing what they did. The resume this year for Greg Gurn as athletic director's pretty good, wouldn't you say, Rodney?
I would. I mean, I think obviously the results speak for themselves. I know Alabama football fans probably wish things could have turned out a little better, especially at the end. But overall, it's a good season. They made progress. Basketball certainly overcame a lot of adversity and went to the Sweet 16. I thought Nate Oates got about as much out of this team as he could.
I do too.
And then of course, it wasn't but a couple of years ago everybody wanted to fire, or not everybody, but a lot of fans were voicing that Patrick Murphy had gotten complacent, and this once proud Alabama softball program was not what it used to be, and then here we are. We know that he's done a fantastic job in baseball. I mean, I put a hypothetical on the board on Tider Insider last night was, is there any Alabama baseball fan that, as the SEC season approached, would not have taken a potential 18-12 record? I mean, they're 16-11 right now. If they can win 2 of 3 from Ole Miss here, then all of a sudden, that's a pretty dang good season.
Yeah, I would say so. Let's go back to softball. I mentioned this. I know the pitcher, Jacqueline Brisky, I believe is her name.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about Montana Faust years ago. Everybody knew who she was. Great pitcher. I mean, she was dominant. We really haven't heard much about individual players on this
Mhm.
Alabama team, Rodney. We might, now that they're into postseason, with regional and possibly super regional action, and people are going to be watching a lot more of it. But I just think, to me, it's a team really of a lot of unknowns, but in doing a little dive on it, the pitching seems to be very sound, and they probably are hitting the softball better than they have in years past.
Well, I think the key is you just kind of hit it. This team's probably, and again, I'm not a Bama softball guru by any
Yeah.
means. I'm going to tell you up front. But at the same time, I think when you look at some of the teams he's had, Murphy, he's had some great teams, but like you said, they were dominated by pitching mostly. And now it's a really balanced team. And I think the one thing you could see a few years ago was that Alabama lacked some power hitting. They needed some thump in the lineup, so to
Yep.
speak.
Yep.
And they got that pop, and now they're really balanced. I mean, they can score runs. They're sound defensively for the most part. Pitching is there, obviously. And it's just a really balanced team. And I think it's, again, I go back to, you got to credit Patrick Murphy, what he's done with this team.
All right, I gotta say this and just get some perspective for you, because I feel old, because I remember Ken Simon when he was a linebacker at Tennessee. I mean, he was all conference, it feels like, all the time. And it doesn't seem like that long ago. He was a linebacker at Tennessee. His son is a linebacker and committed to Alabama. Is that surprising to you? I mean, was that out of nowhere, or was it something that you had kind of seen on the horizon?
Well, yes, did see it. I mean, in terms of it was pretty well known, I guess, Barry, maybe the last month or so. I mean, you knew Alabama was involved heavily. I think 10 days before he made his announcement was when it became pretty apparent that he was coming to Alabama, or he was going to commit to Alabama. So, but yeah, he's an outstanding player from Brentwood Academy. Again, like you said, his dad did play at Tennessee and played for played for Phil Fulmer. Let's just put it that way.
Wow, boy.
So, that's a kind of a different, unique thing, right? I mean,
I wonder what Phil Fulmer thinks about that, huh?
Yeah, you never know. I'm sure he's not really happy. But now I will tell you this. This is I'm gonna surprise maybe you guys.
Oh, good.
And maybe some of your listeners. And I'm getting off the path a little bit.
I like it.
But you guys may remember Coach Griska, Clem Griska, who was on Coach Bryant's staff back in the day. He was their recruiting coordinator per se. And Coach Griska ran the Bryant Museum for many, many years, and I became close to Coach Griska. Coach Griska, actually recruited Phil Fulmer out of high school for Alabama. Fulmer was an offensive lineman in Winchester, Tennessee. I don't think it's really far over the state line. And Fulmer was committed privately to Alabama.
Ooh.
He was coming to Alabama. Coach Griska told me that himself. I had him committed. And the governor of Tennessee somehow got involved, and Fulmer ended up going to Tennessee. So history could have been a little bit different.
Wow, boy, no kidding.
I did not know. Oh, my God. Think about that for a moment.
Man,
Alabama.
Phil Fulmer could have been the head coach at Alabama at one point in time. Oh, man.
There's a chance, John, that he would have never been the great orange pumpkin.
You're right. I just, even though he got a little, I don't know.
Roy Kramer probably wouldn't have been as interested in it.
Yeah, probably so. Of course, he had it in for Alabama, but just, seeing him wince on the sideline and all that orange from time to time was man, that was great. That was great TV. I love that. So, man, I've never heard that before, Rodney. Philip Fulmer in a crimson jersey. God, it's hard to imagine.
It would have been.
Man. Now, there was also, not to be confused with a Kenny Simon that was from Montgomery, Barry.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I knew him, too.
He had the nickname Shotgun Kenny Simon.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, I had Kenny Simon in some classes at Alabama, and he was a great guy. And like you said,
Oh,
no
sure.
relation there for those wondering. Kenny Simon, the young player that just committed, like you said,
Okay.
his father Ken Simon played at Tennessee.
Yeah.
But outstanding player again. He's I did talk to some people, some coaches, some that actually are very familiar with Kenneth Simon, the young
Mhm.
man, and thinks he's a good player. I mean, he's a really good player. He's got some developing to do, good bit of development to do, but that he is potentially a really outstanding player.
Rodney, I know we talked about this maybe a month or so ago, but it became official since we last spoke with you last week. The Oklahoma State series has been canceled to my satisfaction. I'm glad to hear that. They have kept the Ohio State series. I'm very happy about that as well. Were you surprised about that? And what do you see about some possible other future matchups that maybe will or will not be played?
Listen, I'm not going to say I was surprised or what. I didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I did think that the Ohio State AD, the guy that used to be at Ole Miss, name escapes me off the top of my head.
Ross Bjork. Yes,
Exactly.
you're right.
I do think he kind of, in his own way, made us put a little subtle pressure on Alabama several weeks ago or months ago when he said that they had no plans to cancel Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he was basically saying if this gets canceled, it's going to be on Alabama. So,
Ooh, I like
but
that play. I like that. That's good. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. John and Barry, think about this though. In 2027, and I don't have the complete schedule in front of me, but
Mhm.
think about this. Alabama plays Ohio State. I think that one's at Ohio State.
It is.
They've got Texas here.
Oh.
They've got
Ooh.
Ole Miss as a playoff team. Who,
Yeah.
by the way, the people over there tell me, and I'm talking about not just rabid Ole Miss fans, they
Mhm.
think Ole Miss is going to be a top 5 team this year.
Wow.
They feel really great about their team. So you
It's
got Ole
amazing
Miss, you
they're
got
gonna be that good because Lane Kiffin says they can't recruit any good players to Oxford. Huh. Wow.
Yeah,
that's
geez.
Lane being Lane.
Boy,
Yeah.
is it?
All right.
But now listen, Florida's going to be an improved team. They've got Florida
Yeah.
on the schedule. They've got
Oh, boy.
Oklahoma on the schedule. They've got
In Norman.
yeah, and think about this. I mean, that's not including Auburn. I mean, Tennessee. So they're going to have a loaded schedule. Geez, I mean, so the point I'm getting at is you're talking about future schedules. You asked that,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it could be tough, man. I mean, I don't think I'd be playing Ohio State.
But Rodney, to me, and I may look, I dubbed myself a expert at reading between the lines. I mean, sometimes I miss out, but to me, this is a huge selling point for the 2014 playoff. We're going to play these tough schedules because the fans want it, the TV networks want it, but we still got a really good shot of making the 2014 playoff.
Yeah.
Even if we
So
lose.
my question to you guys
All
would
right.
be, is there going to be a 2014 playoff? Now, ESPN's pushing against it because my understanding is if they go beyond 16, then the negotiation for TV rights opens up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
that's why
Fox
ESPN is
for
pushing
it.
against it. It's my understanding.
Well,
Now, again, I
Yeah.
can't keep up with that. But so do you guys think it's going to 24?
I don't necessarily. I mean, people are, because I know the Big Ten is behind it. They've gotten the Big 12 behind it. They've gotten the ACC behind it, Rodney. And it seems as though Greg Sankey is now standing on an island by himself with all of this. And he needs a win. He's not as, unbeatable and all that as he was, it feels like, as he was back in November and December. But, I do think that that it's not over yet. I do think the SEC still has so much pull that they could get their way on this deal, but I'm not sure exactly what impact a 16-team playoff would have as far as future scheduling, because Alabama still needs one for the 2027 season. They still need a non-conference game there.
Yeah.
And I think they're waiting to see what the what the playoff situation looks like before they figure out what type of a team they're going to schedule.
Yeah.
Well, Rodney, I think that it's all about money. And we've talked about that so much. And if there's money on the table, I can't imagine they're going to let it go. ESPN wants to dominate it, but if Fox comes to the table with a lot of money, how are they going to turn that down? The SEC, most SEC coaches, from what I'm hearing, want the 2014 playoff.
Yep.
Probably not only for the money, but also for, hey, we made the playoff.
The stability.
So they can say that as well. So personally, I think 16's enough, but I'm certainly not going to bet against a 2014 playoff. And when I see programs like in Alabama saying, yeah, we'll still play Ohio State, we'll still play Notre Dame, I think one of the reasons they're willing to do it is because they have a strong feeling they're going to go to 24 teams in a playoff.
Now, again, I'm not even sure when this is going to come up, the expanding the playoffs. Is there any, because I haven't been able to follow it.
Yeah.
And the question is, how soon would they do something like that?
It could be. I'm not saying it would be, but it could be in time for the 27 season. I don't know if they'll work that quickly.
That would be, but you're right, John. The pressure on these coaches, and to be able to say, well, we're a playoff team, is huge for them.
No doubt.
I didn't realize, Rodney. I mean, Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio State, LSU. I mean, those are that's a gauntlet.
It's a gauntlet. Yeah. They've got a real gauntlet, and they've got a second half this year that's a gauntlet. When you talk about, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, Texas A&M comes in here. You're going to have to deal with Auburn here at the last. But in Auburn, I think you look at them the last few seasons. Again, I know they've got a different roster. They lost a lot of games they should have won, and they're probably. I expect them, just from the standpoint of being on, the mindset that they have, because I think Golish is kind of. It just strikes me as a, I think they're on the same page right now, just kind of as they approach this first season. I just kind of get that feeling, that vibe. And yes. And I think I think they'll be better as the season goes on.
Rodney Orr, TigerInsider.com, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Rodney, I thought you made a good point, because we've seen and we've participated in the dialogue and the discourse about, how the college football world has changed to purely financial. Who has the most money for NIL and all of that, and that Alabama is one of those teams that is behind the Texases and behind the Ohio States in terms of finances. I thought you made a really good point on TigerInsider.com. In terms of money and resources, Alabama has never been the top dog in all of that, and yet they've been the most successful football program in college football. That hasn't changed, and I'm glad that you've refocused people on that, who are, wringing their hands about the fact that Alabama doesn't have the money that a school like Texas or Texas A&M has. And you point out they never have. It's never been equal resources there.
Exactly. And I understand that NIL has put Alabama at a disadvantage to some extent, no doubt.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, like you said, USC, Ohio State, Penn State, Texas A&M, Florida, all of those schools have always had more money than Alabama. And honestly, let's look at it this way. Those programs have a built-in recruiting base that is far superior to the state of Alabama. Not that Alabama doesn't produce good players, but they don't produce a number or
The
the
volume.
quantity that those states do. So Alabama's always been at a disadvantage in some of those ways. And back in the day, think about this. It used to be much more territorial than it is now. Meaning that if you were from California, you went to USC or you went to UCLA. If you were an elite prospect, you went to USC or UCLA. If you were from Texas, you were an elite prospect. You're probably going to Texas, maybe Texas A&M. You're from Pennsylvania, which is that was a hotbed. You're probably going to Penn State or maybe Notre Dame. Okay, so we could go on and on and on about that. And Alabama got players. Most of the Alabama teams are made up of Alabama players. So I mean, it's not that it's not that Alabama doesn't have good players and all of that. But at the same time, I think it's something that Alabama's always fought an uphill battle with.
Successfully.
And
yes.
Rodney, years ago, we're really dating ourselves, but when we would talk to you, back in the early 2000s, late 90s,
Right.
it was all about, why doesn't Alabama broaden their footprint when it comes to recruiting? Why don't they go national? And certainly that happened when Nick Saban came to Tuscaloosa, but you're right. It seemed to be focused on a 3-state area for so long.
A lot of Gene Stallings' recruiting classes. If they signed 25 or 26, whatever it was at the time, a lot of that, you saw 21 or 22 of those kids were from Alabama. And, again, like you said, Saban changed everything in that regard in terms of, he had signing classes with 16 states, 18 states represented, which was crazy. But yeah, I mean, so things changed. But look, Alabama's still, John and Barry, been recruiting at a very, very high level. You look at they were like number 2 a couple of years ago. They were number 3 or 4 this year, depending on which service you're looking at. The question is, I think, okay, so the emphasis is on high school players, and it's bringing in high school players, making good evaluations, retaining those players, developing those players, and developing some continuity into the program. Now, Alabama's not the only school that does that. Georgia's philosophy is the same. You fill in with portal guys. So we'll see how much that continues, that philosophy, if they adjust it some. I thought that this year they brought in more portal guys on the line of scrimmage, and maybe we continue to see that. So, but again, I think the bottom line to me is, look, Alabama's going to get players. They're going to be competitive. And, we could give a lot of examples of times when, heck, I remember, guys, listen to this. Was it 1995? I think it was. Alabama, the probation, Alabama signed like 14 guys.
Yeah.
14. Okay. And everybody said, Alabama's done. 4 years later, Alabama beats the mighty Steve Spurrier twice in the same season.
Mike Dubose
beats him in the SEC championship game. So a program that just 4 years earlier, when Sean Alexander was a freshman, they were getting hammered with probation. When he was a senior, they were winning the SEC and certainly one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the nation going into their bowl game.
Could have used that as an excuse. Could have used a lot of things as an excuse.
Could have.
And all of that. Good things happen on our segment with Rodney or John when he begins a comment by saying, heck, I remember when, and then you see John settle into his chair and get comfortable because we're fixing to hear something good. He's exactly right about that. All the NIL stuff and, well, we don't make as much, we don't spend as much money. Alabama's never been, the excuses are usually never well received.
No, they're not. They're not.
Well, John and Barry, listen, I don't know if you heard Kirby on the Josh Pate segment.
I did.
He made Georgia, their NIL deal has kind of been very similar. I'm not saying they don't have more money. I don't know what all the numbers are, but Georgia and Alabama both have been perceived to be lagging a little bit behind those elite schools in NIL. And Kirby made a comment, that he's had some guys jump on him here recently. And he made a couple of comments. Number one, he said, a guy who takes a bag now is a guy who would take a bag later to transfer.
Yep.
So I'd rather him take the bag now than take the bag later. So that's a good point. But think about this too. This Kirby and I'm glad he said this. He said, ultimately implying that we're going to get our players, but what it's going to come down to is me, referring to himself, and the guy on the other sideline. Mm-hmm. Who develops those players the best? There's a lot of people on Tighter Insider that don't want to hear that, frankly. They don't want to hear that it's going to come down to, okay, Alabama's going to get players, but will they be developed? Will they be in a system? Will they be mentally tough? Will they be physically tough? Will they play the kind of brand of football that it takes to, regularly compete for the SEC championship and a national championship? There's a kind of a vibe that, we just can't do that anymore because of NIL. And I think Kirby spelled it out, and I think it's true. I think Alabama's going to have the players.
Yeah.
They're not going to dominate and stack them like Saban did, and they're not going to have a Saban type run. Everybody understands that.
It's just not getting beat by 20 or 35 points, I think, would also be something that would make Alabama fans happy. You don't want to lose, but if you're going to lose, you want to be competitive in doing it and maybe, lose by a late field goal or something like that. To me, Rodney, that's what the fan base is looking for this fall. I mean, they're going to have a keen eye on how physical, how prepared, are they playing 4 full quarters? Those are the things I'm certainly going to be looking for.
Well, look at the FSU game. I mean, FSU proved not to be a very good team.
Yep.
And Alabama went into that game, and there was a lot of hype. This team was going to take a next step. And then all of a sudden they laid an egg in that first game. And listen, I understand that does happen. I mean, historically, we can talk about that. You could go back to 75 when Alabama opened with Missouri and they laid an egg like that, So it does happen. That's not a knock on, but I do think you're right.
Lost the opener the next year to Ole Miss as well.
To Ole Miss, yes.
Yeah.
So that's not a knock on DeBoer, but I do think that fans want to see, okay, are we going to be physically tough? Are we going to be mentally tough? We can't quit in games like the Indiana game or fall flat on our face against Georgia in the SEC championship game. Those types of performances, I think, are alarming to Alabama fans.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. No doubt. Hey, Tighter Insider subscribers, no need to drive all the way down to Mobile to pick up live crawfish. You can order yours right now at the Destin Connection here in Montgomery by calling 288-4272. That's 288-4272. That's area code 334. They also have all of your fresh Gulf shrimp to boil along with those crawfish. So go by and see them today, 3750 Norman Bridge Road, or call ahead for your order to be picked up. The Destin Connection, proudly sponsoring Rodney Orr and the Tighter Insider each and every week. And before we let you go, Rodney, give us that info. How can our viewers and listeners subscribe, be a part of everything you do there at TI?
Right. It's tighterinsider.com. It's only $48 a year, and you can get instant access with your credit card, or if you prefer, there is an address there to send a check. Gives y'all our premium information, but also like our all sports forum. I mean, that's part of it. A lot of discussion last night, and Barry alluded to the Alabama's always been at a disadvantage little piece, and that created a lot of discussion as well. But all of that stuff right there on tighterinsider.com.
Rodney, are there just some topics you just shake your head and say, I'm not getting involved with this one? This one's just too crazy.
John, I think there are probably numerous topics.
Every hour, maybe.
Yeah. And you guys, listen, as many posts as I've made on Tighter Insider over the last 30 years, there's probably just as many posts that I made, and I said, nope, I'm not going to do it.
Backspace, 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 backspace.
Yes.
I love
Rodney,
it.
Always a pleasure. Very informative and entertaining. We appreciate your time as always.
Okay, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Man, great stuff as always. Rodney Orr, he'll join us again next week, sponsored by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. You know, Barry, I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking, this is just too good. I mean, we can't wrap this up just yet. I know it's 29 minutes past the hour, but
I know.
I mean, who's holding our feet to the fire?
Our entire final hour of the show is already halfway over. And to our sponsors, hang on, we got you taken care of here.
Yeah.
You know, we only have 30 minutes left after that. But hey, that's okay. And he's right. Real quick about Kirby Smart. Kirby makes the point when he was talking with Josh Pate. What do you want to do? What do you want to sell to a recruit? He says, we know what the league minimum is in the National Football League, which, by the way, for rookies is $885,000. He said these players are taking pay cuts to go to the NFL. It's like Carson Beck. Last year when he transferred to Miami, he made over $4 million, $4 million in NIL money at Miami. Well, he got picked in the third round by the Arizona Cardinals in the NFL draft, and he's about to sign a 4-year, $7.4 million rookie deal. That is $1.34 million as a rookie. He made $4 million last year at Miami. Now, which would you rather do? Would you rather be developed? And I think, he did Miami and they're fine and all that kind of stuff. I think he would have been better developed at Georgia. I think, like at Alabama, you can say, look, you can go chase the money here. And like he said, you can go chase the money somewhere else after us. But do you want to be in a position where you can make your real money in the NFL, or do you want to peak in your junior year at somewhere else? I think that's a business decision.
I think it is too.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. All right, let's take a quick break. We got the Phantoms Daily Dog, Will Fisher, going to join us to talk a little PGA today as well.
Coming up, Longshore McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Grab some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get below employee pricing and save thousands. Enjoy prices even lower than what we pay with Stivers Ford Employee Pricing Plus. Up to 20 grand off F-150s or 10 grand off Mustangs.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Get below employee pricing and save thousands. Enjoy prices even lower than what we pay with Stivers Ford Employee Pricing Plus. Up to 11 grand off Broncos and Expeditions or 8 grand off Explorers.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us. Okay, a little late for the Phantoms Daily Dog. We appreciate the chat line letting us know that. We're going to give it to you. Don't worry about it. We're going to give it to you.
Sometimes we kind of pull it like we're pulling teeth. Sometimes you have to coax it out like you're reeling in one of those big fish or something.
Yep.
But he always gives it to you.
I'm not familiar with what Tobias is asking you here, Barry. I certainly would know who Mark Brunell is, but who's this other guy?
Natron Means? Natron Means, big fullback? Natron was, I don't know exactly, but he looked like he was about 5'10", about 245. He was like that Robert Stewart looking fullback that was about as wide as he was tall.
Forgot about that guy, Robert Stewart. Okay. Daily Dog, look at here. Well, Barry, last night we said, let's change the pace a little bit. So
there he is. Look, check out Natron in the middle. The best picture of him is at the top, second from the left.
Yeah,
I guarantee you he did not buy that suit off the rack.
No, I don't think he did either. Yeah, he's a big boy. Big boy. Good for him. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to go to the locker room for that. Well, you should.
They might have to custom make that one for you. I
don't
think
no doubt.
I mean, the locker room there. But they can hook you up. I can promise you that.
No doubt.
All right, so we dabbled into a little baseball last night, Barry. And the reason that we did, we thought, wait a minute, hold the phone. I'm hearing that this is the greatest baseball team since the beginning of time.
Wait, hang
all this type business, and they are a home underdog. Are you kidding me? The Atlanta Braves were at plus 122 last night. Some guy I'd never heard was on the mound, but I'm thinking, I don't care. So what? I mean, there's other players on this team as well.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I'm gonna buy into the hype here. And it paid off for me. Because as I mentioned, came home, checked the score. Look at that. Up 4-1, I believe, in the 8th inning. I went, okay. And even the Braves can't blow this game, which they did not. Won it outright as a home underdog. I'm cashing in $122 on that $100 bet I placed on the Atlanta Braves yesterday. So
by the way, 5-2 was the final score.
Yep.
Braves 5, Cubs 2. That guy who you had never heard of before,
what's his name?
was one of his name was Grant Holmes.
Yeah.
He ends up going 4 innings, walking 5.
Yeah.
But Fuentes, Lee, and Iglesias at the end. Cubs had one hit. One hit. Bleeping, as Harry Doyle say, one bleep hit.
That guy could have gotten the hook in the first inning. Don't matter. But
nope.
It's all what happens on the scoreboard.
Okay. That's
and
right.
The Braves win it for me. So I guess I'm a little excited for the Braves since they, won for me and cashed my ticket. I don't know if I'm going there again, but the Braves win the money last night. They're on a 4-game winning streak, won 7 of their last 10. Look at that. So, Barry, tonight, here's a game we're going to go to that might surprise some people.
It's got to be the association. Got to be the association.
If we, the Phantom Enterprises, we do our homework. And this really surprised me, Barry, because this team has been catching a lot of crud over the last couple of years. They weren't very good. Just, AA teams could have beat them. But, Barry, the Chicago White Sox are at 500.
Yes.
They are a 500 baseball team.
Yes, they
in the American League Central Division. They're only 1.5 games out of first place.
Yeah, they here's the deal, is they signed this Japanese guy. That is really, really good.
Yep.
He's going to be like the, rookie of the year this year. He's having it's a big first baseman. He ain't hitting very well lately, but his name is Munetaka Murakami.
You love
John.
that.
I would tell you, you're going to have to remember that name, but I know you never will. Munetaka Murakami is he's only hitting 228.
The Japanese
15 homers.
Sox. How about that?
Yeah. The White Sox are Cinderella story coming out of nowhere. They're taking on the Royals. Or is the daily
bottom
Royals versus the White Sox?
Yeah, the Royals are in the bottom of the American League Central, Barry. They're at Chicago, at the White Sox, who look, last couple of seasons, we've been kicking around the White Sox. Terrible, not any good.
Horrendous. Yeah, absolutely
don't care. Look at them now. 1.5 games out of first place. Now, Barry, I can't tell you. I have no idea who Anthony Kay is, who's scheduled to be on the mound for the White Sox tonight, going up against Chris Bubic, I believe is how you pronounce it. Obviously, they have a lot of faith in Bubic because Kansas City's at minus 137 on the road on a 4-game losing streak. And I'm catching the White Sox at home at plus 120.
That game is just reaching out of his screen, grabbing him by the lapels and saying, look at me. Yeah. Look at me. Don't look anywhere else. Watch, play this game.
I mean, hey, look, Anthony Kay, we're believers, man. We are believers in Anthony Kay. We're going to take the Chicago White Sox at home at plus 120. And look, hey, man, don't look now, but the Chicago White Sox have put 4 straight wins together. We're riding that wave for a 5th tonight.
Man, John's always been a sucker for guys, for people with names that are an initial. Kenny G, Sheila E, Anthony K. Hey,
wasn't there a guy named? Wasn't there a baseballer now, Danny Kaye or something? No,
Danny Kaye was an actor and comedian. He played in Holiday Inn and
wasn't
the
there a
Life
Kaye
of
that was
Walter
the
Mitty.
voice of the Yankees or something?
Michael Kaye. He still is.
How about that?
How in God's green earth would John know who Michael Kaye is?
Yeah, I knew it would eventually come to me.
Let's catch up just a little bit.
Let's do it. Yeah, Will's going to hop on probably when we get back from the break.
Yep, Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Big news for Central Alabama travelers. Getting to Texas just got easier. You can now fly nonstop from Montgomery to Houston with United Airlines. No long drives, no layovers, just smooth direct travel from your hometown airport. Whether it's business or a weekend getaway, Houston is now just one flight away. Spend more time there and less time getting there. Fly nonstop to Houston. Fly MGM, where travel feels easy. Book your trip today at flymgm.com.
Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a 4th location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today. 669-5959. That's 669-5959. And have the best looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw.
Drive away in a Ford F-150 or win your share of $25,000 in free play during Victoryland Casino's Truck and 25K free play giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Visit our Players Club and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Drawings May 29th and 30th. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us. Will Fisher is the director of golf at Capitol Hill on the RTJ Trail. Going to hop on with us to talk a little, Capitol Hill, some golf, some PGA. Stefan Jaeger is your leader right now through 74. Xander Schauffele right behind him at 3 under through 4 holes today. To give you a quick update, Will, how you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. If I was any better, I'd be twins. I'll tell you that.
Love it.
What's going on over there at Capitol Hill? I know there's been some great golf. There's been a lot of fun and all of that, but there's progress being made on the course itself, right?
It is. It is. Real quick, Barry, I didn't know that you were such a Duval County fan.
Oh yeah,
I see you now
Duval
rocking your colors here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm talking to God, who was the left-handed quarterback?
Mark Brunell. Mark
Yeah, Brunell.
Yeah.
Oh, and you got his jaw. Look at you.
Yeah.
You know, it's the
Fantastic.
NFL
All
schedule reveal tonight, Will, and Barry's trying to make his plans for Jags games this fall.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go to London, evidently.
I like it.
Yeah.
No, guys, golf courses are in great shape. Construction for the Judge is on pace and right on schedule, so we're excited about that. And we've got Jimmy Rain's event going on right now. We've got some of his Southern Wood employees and vendors here this morning, and we've got the celebrities and the athletes, coaches, all that here in about another hour or so going off. And so we'll spend it actually before I came up to do this, spending a little time with Mr. George Rogers, Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, South Carolina. Yeah.
Absolutely. So always nice to talk to these guys. It's kind of interesting to get some of the stories from these guys from back in the years when they played. But no, man, golf courses are great, and we're really excited about what we got going on, and it's going to be a busy weekend for us, and so we're rocking and rolling.
Will, one of our sponsors, and he's also a big contributor to the show, was believe it or not, out on a jet ski over the weekend, and he pulled up around several of the holes on the Judge. Took some photos that he sent to me from a water view, which was kind of neat. Man, you've got a lot of construction going on there on that Judge course.
Yeah, we really do. So we have we got all the greens are all set. We did the fumigation, which is one of the last steps you do before you plant to make sure you get anything that may have been left from the old greens. So we did all that, and we'll start sprigging probably late next week, first of the following week. And so did that. We're laying the last bit of sod over on 15, and then we'll move into 18. 18 is going to be some really good changes there as well. We lowered the green down. We added a bunker, so to give you a little bit of bailout room. But by lowering the green, we gave you an opportunity to see the green surface where you used to be hitting up above and you couldn't really see the ball land. So we're excited about that. But no, we do have a lot of construction going on, and 12 is probably one of the ones that he could see a good bit. And so we've done a good bit of change on 12 as well. We've tried to enlarge the tee boxes a little bit just to, give guys a little bit more room and, make it a little easier for maintenance and care and quality of the conditions. But now I'm excited, John. I really am. I think that golf course, when we open back up in October, is going to be even better. I think it's going to be more playable, which is big. And then I think the changes are going to be things where people feel like they've got a chance. Judge, to me, used to be you might have 2-3 holes really on the course of the 18 that you could really go get and try to make birdie. Now we hopefully, with some of the changes with green complexes and stuff, we've given you a few more that you can make birdies on. We want it to be fun and difficult, but we can make it difficult with green speeds and the rough height and all that stuff if we needed to. But it should be also fun to play.
I don't know. I mean, everybody's talking about this week and the PGA Championship. Everybody's talking about Scheffler and McIlroy, and they haven't played in a major in the final round in a group together and all that. Could this be the time? Are you familiar with where they're playing? Do you see anybody that has an advantage in this thing going in? Well,
yeah, I know Aronimik doesn't have a massive, most recent history of hosting,
Right.
major champions, kind of like what we're used to seeing with whether it's Wingfoot or Oakmont or those kind of types of events in the Northeast. That those are the types of facilities that you see Shinnecock that have a lot of history in hosting recent majors. But listen, this is a Donald Ross. It's a redesign, so Donald Ross is one of the most iconic Donald Ross courses in the U.S. is Pinehurst too. And so you're going to see a lot of the greens that not going to be as turtleback shaped as you would see at Pinehurst, but still got a lot of roll-offs and stuff. In fact, John Rahm this morning missed the green short and went to hit a little bump and run and didn't give energy on it, and it rolled right back to him. And so you're going to see some of that. You're going to see some where they roll off it into the rough. But this golf course puts a premium on your approach shots. You've got some room on the driving to be a little bit of sporadic if you want. The rough is kind of gnarly, but again, the real emphasis is going to be on being able to hit in the right quadrant of the green to really give yourself a chance. And if you miss by just a few feet because of some of the roll-offs on the greens, you're going to roll off and potentially be either short-siding yourself, or you may roll off and roll back down a hill, and now you're 40, 50 yards from the green or from the pin. So you're going to see a lot of premium on that, where and some of your other majors, especially U.S. Opens, your British Opens, it's more about trying to get off the tee and give yourself an opportunity. This is going to be more about the approach shots.
Will, we talked about this earlier. Par 70. These pros love as many par fives as they can step up on, because the chance to make birdie, make eagle. But with more par fours, longer par fours, it makes the scoring a little more difficult. You see it in the U.S. Open. I don't recall seeing many in the PGA.
Now, I think we're getting where you're starting to see some more of that. John, I'm not looking at the scorecard, but I think it's hole 14 or 15 is 540 something yards, par four. And, so you're starting to see a little bit more of that come about. I think there's going to be there's one really short par three out there that they're trying to make it, fun as well, to give you some chance to throw some darts in there. But no, I think, Kerry Haig has been the guy that's been setting up the PGA Championship for a while, and he's really good at it, and good at giving a good fair competition. I like the PGA. It's obviously I'm a PGA member, so it is one of my favorite events. But I like it because it's not. There are people who love the U.S. Open, and they absolutely everybody. If you do love it, good for you. I mean, that's just not my golf. I don't want to go to a Major League Baseball game and watch a two-hitter. I want to go to a Major League Baseball game. I want to see a perfect game. If you're not going to put the ball in play, I want to see some history made. Or if you're going to put it in play, I want to see some home runs. I want a little action. That's why I love the NCAA softball tournament, right?
Yes. There's always something happening.
Fast, quick action. It's a lot going on. And so I that's what I want to see really from a majors. That's why I love Augusta. You get to the back nine, you really can get some real momentum changes and some swings in there, and that makes it fun to watch on TV. So listen, the PGA is going to have some holes that are out there that are going to be difficult for these guys, especially playing, like you said, a par 70. So I think this is going to be a tremendous week for the PGA. I think the leader is going to be somewhere in that 12 to 16 range. I think kind of like what you typically see around Augusta typically is somewhere in that ballpark as well. So we'll see. I tell you what, I have decided though over the last couple of weeks, I wasn't a big fan of having so many elevated events and majors all kind of crammed in there together, but I do like having the PGA where it is and not being that far from behind the Masters. This is, golf needs to capitalize on this time of the year. Baseball really hasn't gotten heated up yet. You're not into college football. You need to grab some attention and let the guys who love watching golf like me get some good events in, some big time events in. So I think they've done a good job with that. But I'm excited about this. Let me tell you real quick before we go, because I'm very proud of our section. We had 4 guys that qualified to go play in what we call the PGA. I'll refer to it as the National Championship.
Yep.
They take 20 guys from that. The top 20 finishers have the opportunity to play in the PGA Championship in that year. Well, one of the guys that qualified is Paul McClure. He's the head golf professional for the Magnolia Grove on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail down in Mobile. Paul just teed off on the PGA Championship. He was 2 groups behind Rory. He's a group in front of Dustin Johnson. What an unbelievable opportunity for Paul. Woo. And we're so proud of him and so excited for him. And I hope he has a week that he'll never forget. He is one heck of a player. And we got to see his opening tee shot. And so I've got a connection that's there. Watched him tee off on number 10. he piped it right down the middle of the fairway. So hopefully he has a good day. And then the last bit of information is thanks to Mr. Jimmy Rain for inviting, as I jokingly refer to as one of the disciples of basketball. Coach K will be in town tonight speaking at the Jimmy Rain thing.
Hey,
and I believe, just knock on wood, I think I may have an opportunity to meet Coach, and so we're excited about that.
Man, gotta get a picture.
I can't see, but I got my swinging Blue Devil shirt on today. So
Very nice.
Yeah,
no, you'll get a chance.
Oh, that is awesome, Will. That is. I know you're excited about that. I know Jimmy's event is huge. For so many reasons, but for the river region as well. He keeps coming back, and that'll be outstanding. Will, thank you so much for the breakdown and the knowledge. We greatly appreciate it. For tee times and more information, go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill, or they can call the pro shop. What's that number?
Yeah, they give us a call at 334-285-1114.
And download the RTJ Golf app on your phone as well.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely, yeah. It's good. So we look forward to a great weekend, guys. Same to y'all. I hope y'all have a great weekend and be in touch soon.
All right, sounds good. Yeah,
man, Coach K, good stuff.
I like that. All right, Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic. Will we may run over a little bit today, but I got
possibly
time. Brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 to I-85, Shorter, Alabama. You can be a winner too. Will he or won't he?
Will he or won't
LeBron. Got to be LeBron.
LeBron, yeah. What's the story?
Now, there's several questions. What LeBron needs to return to L.A. Number one, he needs for an upgrade. He doesn't need to be the focal point of the franchise anymore. They're going to get that to Luka Doncic. But he's, like John said, he's not going to play another year, for a 500 team or a team that's 8 games back. He wants all that. Plus, John, if he does come back, I mean, if the Lakers don't guarantee him that, does he go somewhere else? Is there somebody else willing to take on a 42-year-old guy who can still bring something?
I think some markets would love to have him just to sell tickets. But, if he stays in L.A., say what you will, but he is going to be the focal point. No matter if his game's not as good as it used to be, when he steps on the floor, everybody's going to be looking at LeBron. Other guys are better, no doubt, but he's still going to be the one that takes all the oxygen out of the room.
Yeah, that the offense needs to run through Luka, but if not, I don't know. I think he I think he comes back. I'm just not 100% sure he comes back with the Lakers. We'll see. Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
I
think the Pelicans with the Pels.
Yeah, the Pelicans could use him. Yeah, they sure could.
They need to sell tickets.
Boy, you ain't kidding. Ooh,
got him.
Oh, look at this. The green panel. Got him.
Paul Skeens. He's the pitcher for the Pirates. Struck out the first 6 batters, so they tried to bunt. Yeah. I mean, he struck out the first 6. They want to put somebody in play.
That's so funny.
What did he say there?
So that's where the strikeout streak ends.
Usually, Barry, I can read.
Try to break up a no-hitter.
Nice bunt.
Just so he can put
nice bunt.
He said nice bunt.
Okay. Yeah. I can usually pick it out when the word starts with
guys
an F
try to break up a no-hitter.
or an M, just so he can put a ball and an M and an F together. I'm real good at being able to read those lips.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, who was that? There was a guy that was about to pitch a perfect game, and they bunted for a base hit. Oh, all of a sudden, doing it when you've struck out 6 times, just make it's like Will said, you got the fans out there that are just dying. Can somebody make an infielder run around a little bit or something?
Yeah. Man, I can't take much more of this organ playing.
I disagree with what Will Fisher had to say. He said, man, I don't want to see a lot of strikeouts. I want to see something going on. I'm thinking strikeouts.
Will, I'll go to a game with you, Will. I'm with it. I don't want to see a perfect game. Boring.
Okay, here we go.
3 to go, man.
Oh, hey, all right. We're okay. We're okay here. Yeah. So far, so good. Yeah.
Oh, it's a light spin. That's okay. I like a light spin.
Youngest trick. Is this
trick.
Hat trick?
Ah.
Oh, yeah. MLS. That's Major League Soccer. I'm kind of an aficionado. The New York Red Bulls, they beat the Columbus Crew. Julian Hall, 18 years and 50 days, scored twice in the first half at Sports Illustrated Stadium. Are you kidding me? That place is about to fall apart. He is the youngest player in MLS history to score a hat trick.
Okay.
He's pretty good. His debut was when he was 15. His mom had to drive him to his professional soccer game. Yeah, he's going to be a star. He's no Lionel Messi, which, by the way, Messi is selling a lot of tickets to Jordan-Hare Stadium for June. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Too bad he's not going to play.
Oh, if he plays, I had a buddy of mine. He's actually going to sell his tickets. He's selling them all for like $125 a piece.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, he's selling.
He's gouging the public.
That ain't gouging. 125 ain't gouging for that thing. It's a friendly.
Face value.
It was more than 125.
He's jacking them up. Hey, I do it too. I don't blame him.
Isn't that illegal?
He going to a soccer game? Forget it.
One of the best.
Of the best.
Oh, Jason Collins.
What happened?
Yeah, he had a brain tumor. NBA player, probably most well known for being the first NBA player to come out as gay, come out openly as gay. He had glioblastoma. Glioblastoma.
I mean, as Jerry Seinfeld
died at 47.
Said, nothing wrong with that. Whatever. What do we do? Basketball is a real up close. There's a lot of pushing and touching and grabbing, and I don't know. I wonder if there were some other players that I don't know. I don't want to be trying to move this guy out of the lane. I don't know. That's tough. That is tough. The double. Isn't it the double? I think it's the double.
That's what Jerry asked for. I mean, that's what John asked for whenever somebody told him, hey, don't you know the Alabama-Utah game is kicked off? Oh, yeah, cancel that.
Man, jeez.
Catherine Legge, she's doing the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600. She's a 45-year-old woman. She's going to race the 500 and the 600 on the same day.
I think that's been done already, but not by a woman.
She would be the sixth driver. Kyle Larson, Tony Stewart, Robbie Gordon, John Andretti, Kurt Busch. She can get there. Just getting there from one to the other.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, she ain't winning. She probably ain't finished in the top 25. Driving 1,100 miles in a day at 180 miles an hour,
the greatest two-sport athlete of our era was the first person to ever do that. Now everybody's trying to copy Deion Sanders, who played in an NFL and a Major League Baseball game in the same day.
Did he win both of them?
Who cares? I don't know.
Wait a minute. I thought winning was the big deal. Okay.
The theme is I played in two games.
At least I did it. Yeah. Okay.
Now,
Bo did that in college when in the same day when he ran track and then came over and went like 4 for 4 at an Auburn baseball game or something like that.
We need to hear more about that, huh?
Yes. Yeah. We haven't heard enough about Deion Sanders and playing
baseball and ran track.
Yes.
Wow, I realized he was a 3-sport star. How did he fit in all those academics? Huh? Well, wow, we are over the what? I mean, hey, I know a lot of people that can multitask.
John's like, wait a minute. Clock? That's why I love this format. Nobody tells us what we have to do. No, so let's just say, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Coming up tomorrow on the show, I'll be still here in West Monroe, Louisiana, but John will be on location.
That's true. It's Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. We'll tell you about all the great deals going on out at Stivers, where below employee pricing is going on. We'll tell you more about that tomorrow. A lot of good conversation as well. Rodney really piqued my interest, Barry, with those schedules in 27 and 28. I've looked at some other teams' schedule as well since he made that statement. we're going to go over that because things are about to get real interesting with SEC football schedule in the number of quality games that everybody's going to be playing.
Boy, future schedules.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
And the NFL future schedules as well.
Yes. Many thanks to Jason Caldwell for joining us, auburnundercover.com, Rodney Ortiner, insider.com, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, and Will Fisher, the director of golf at Capitol Hill on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail in Prattville, Alabama. Also, thanks to Gurn Jr., our producer. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.